We're back, and it's a good day, Brandon.
It is definitely a good day, Tyler. Big smiles on both our faces.
It's pretty dope.
Running it back.
Getting in there again. Super Bowl 55.
Going. You know what's kind of messed up? Is the Chiefs went 14-2, got home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They're playing a team that was the 5 seed, a wild card team.
And get to host the Super Bowl.
And we're going straight road game. We're going to Tampa Bay to play Tampa Bay.
It doesn't matter who it is.
At this point, I don't think it does.
No. We got a good show in store, everybody. We're going to hit the intro and get to it. Let's go.
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember how they played us. They wanna knock me down, but somehow I just stay up. Look.
Critically Unacclaimed Podcast, episode number 4, the podcast where we just talk about whatever we want to talk about. I am Tyler, here with Brandon.
Hey, guys.
And our producer, Grayson. What's up, Grayson?
Yo, what's up, everybody?
So.
That song, I know we talk about it already, but that song is just a banger.
I like it a lot, yeah.
It's so fun. I listen to that in my car. It's on my playlist now.
I try not to listen to it because, but sometimes I just have to. But sometimes I might just a goober because I like this because it's our intro. But
no, man,
I do like it. I think it is.
That song is fire.
Yeah,
and I get up to it, man. It's definitely one of those.
A lot of the listeners who listen right now have hit me up, telling me that it's a good song, wanting to know who it is and stuff like that. So description's down below. So.
It should get radio play.
Or it's in the description
down
below.
It should get radio. It should get more radio play than it does.
It's fairly new. I think it only come out 5 months ago or something. So
yeah, I think it's on its way up. Though.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's climbing.
I hope we don't lose it.
So we're gonna start right in with some football, and we're going to talk about the big thing, the one thing we're really excited about here, and that's the fact that Tom Brady's going to the Super Bowl, right? That's what it is?
Yeah, that's what I'm excited about. That's what I'm excited about.
Don't this feel like Patrick Mahomes is kind of like Luke Skywalker, and this is Return of the Jedi, and he's going to the Death Star to take out the Emperor? This is it.
Yes. No, what was your stat? I loved your stat that you gave me earlier about Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah, I thought Aaron Rodgers actually have won 2, but the thing that I read said that Tom Brady tied both Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers for one NFC Championship win.
Yeah, no, Aaron Rodgers has only won 1.
Oh, he did. Yeah. He only went to 1 Super Bowl.
He's only been to 1 Super Bowl. No, he went to 1 Super Bowl and
they
won
lost. They lost in the NFC Championship game that year. That they were 15-1. They didn't even make it.
They're I think he's 1-3 in NFC Championship games.
That's crazy.
So
I mean, Tom Brady's a heck of a quarterback. The only problem is I think we got one that's better.
Yeah, no, and before. And we have a whole nother episode before the Super Bowl, so there's plenty of time for us to talk about the pre-Super Bowl talk.
I don't think I'm going to give my pick for the Super Bowl this week. I'm going to keep you guys in suspense on who I'm going to pick.
Oh yeah, I'm sure everybody's on the fucking edge of their seat. So I will say the NFC Championship game, because I know we're going to talk about the Chiefs because we're big Chiefs fans, but the NFC Championship one. Tom Brady looked like he still had it at times. He threw some picks, but there were some throws that I was like, that guy still got it at 43, man. I freaking hate that guy.
He also threw 3 picks today, though. So.
Yeah, no, he did throw picks, but there were some throws. That one where Scotty Miller got behind the defender going into halftime, man, that was a beautiful throw. But then on the other side, right, Aaron Rodgers didn't have the greatest game either. But there was 2 different times that they were within a touchdown. The Packers were within a touchdown, and Tom Brady would go and they'd throw a pick.
Yeah.
Right? And there was 2 different times that the Packers offense couldn't do shit.
They couldn't do nothing. They were just stalling and stalling and stalling.
There was also a couple times where they were in the red zone and couldn't get touchdowns, had to settle for field goals. Because they just couldn't get it punched in. One in particular that they tried to throw Devontae Adams 3 straight times. Is it sometimes, you'll say something at the beginning of the year, and then like, hey, maybe they shouldn't draft a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers needs weapons, and then they win. They go 12-4, 13-3, whatever they went, and you go, oh well, it turns out they didn't need it. No, that team looked like it was one weapon short of going to the Super Bowl.
They did in a way, but in another way, it didn't look like Rodgers was just playing very well today. And that team really goes how Rodgers plays. If he's on, they're going to win, and if he's off, they're going to lose.
I stand by.
But I guess that's every team, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, you know who didn't play a snap? Jordan Love. Jordan Love did not play a snap in the NFC Championship game. You know how many snaps like a Justin Jefferson, who they totally could have drafted, would have played? Every goddamn snap. And Justin Jefferson was amazing. But no, they let him go to their rival, the Minnesota Vikings, rather than picking them up. Justin Jefferson on that roster, and that's just one of like 6 rookies, right, that would have helped them out at the wide receiver position. Justin Jefferson's on the Packers. The Packers are in the Super Bowl right now.
I think that's a big prediction. I don't know if that's 100% true, but I do see where you're coming from in it, though. Like, he's definitely a good player, but sometimes it's just where you're at. You never know he'll be as good or as used if he was at Green Bay. But just to throw out some stats, Tom Brady was 20 for 36, 280 yards. He had 3 interceptions and 3 touchdowns. And then on the Packers side, Aaron Rodgers 33 of 48, 346. He had 1 interception and 3 touchdowns as well. His final score was 31-26. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Congratulations to Tampa Bay.
Your season was good?
Yeah, NFC champions. That's awesome. And you guys will get pick 31.
Yeah, that's pretty good
in the draft, because the people that lose the Super Bowl get pick 31 in the draft.
So
let's talk about the AFC Championship.
It was a great year. So the AFC Championship, and I just want to mention all these hot takes from all these people. And I know that ESPN has to do this because they have to make it like drama, right? They want people to tune into the game, and they want people to tune into what they're hearing. They're trying to make a Twitter, post go viral or something with a clip that they said something, you know what I mean? But if you thought that the Bills were gonna just like beat the Chiefs by like 20 points, you gotta be just the most ignorant son of a bitch I've ever met in my life. Like, come on, people. Like, Patrick Mahomes has played in a total. Let's see, he's played in two, and then let's see, it was 3 last year. And then it's going to be 3 this year, right? So he's played in a total of 7 playoff games, and he's won 6 of them.
Yes.
And the only one he lost was to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And he never got the ball in overtime.
He never got the ball
because the Chiefs' defense was terrible.
Yeah.
Well, so the next year they got him some defense, and he hasn't lost.
In fairness, the defense made some stops. It's just there was some penalties, and there was
the penalties that's still you get a stop, and if you get a penalty, you're a bad defense, and they were a bad defense. They really couldn't stop hardly anybody.
No, they went right down the field in overtime, didn't give Mahomes the ball back, and that was probably a really good strategy. So
yeah, it worked out really well. They're the only ones to ever pull it off.
Yeah.
And I mean, just to throw out there, Josh Allen played really well today, but he's not as good a quarterback as what Mahomes is. He was 28 of 48, 287, one interception and 2 touchdowns.
He is lucky. He is damn lucky he only had 1 interception.
Oh, he could have had 4.
Yeah, apparently the defensive backs don't get any receiver reps in practice.
They don't.
Because,
they cannot catch, but our guys were in great position to make some plays today.
The defensive backfield I thought played completely lights out.
They're really good. Like I think they get it. They don't get a lot of praise just because the fact that the Chiefs are always so ahead in games. They go into these prevent defenses and they end up giving up a lot of yards. But man, whenever they need to get in there, they're dogs, man. Like they put hits on people. They don't lose a lot of tackles usually, which is something that, man, as a Chiefs fan, before last year, missing tackles was something that we just it would keep me up at night. We would miss so many tackles, and they just don't really do that too much anymore, which is pretty great.
The defense bent a little bit, but it never broke, and there was a lot of big plays. And so, if that defense carries over to the Super Bowl, good luck to Tom Brady. Because I'll tell you, the biggest wins that Buffalo had was when Josh was running the ball. Tom Brady does not run the ball.
Excuse me.
Tom Brady is not going to get 8-9 yards a carry running the ball, and that was basically the only time that Buffalo bit us. You said it earlier before the show. Josh Allen was the only Buffalo Bill that was playing like he wanted to go to the Super Bowl. I honestly
where was
believe
Diggs
that.
at? Diggs did not seem like.
We shut Diggs down.
I mean, is Snead that good? That, he's a rookie, and everybody was saying how Diggs is the best number one receiver. Which, by the way, I got to throw out some stats here real quick on the Chiefs, just because. I think what we're seeing with the Chiefs, and I know I'm a Chiefs fan, and so this is going to come off as me just being like a big homer, But I've watched a lot of football, and I really haven't seen something like what I'm about to say right here, right? You got, on receiving, you got Tyreek Hill with 9 receptions, 172 yards, and no touchdowns. He didn't have any touchdowns today. But 172 on 9 receptions. He averaged 19.1 a reception. How do you stop that if you're Buffalo? Second off, Travis Kelce, 13 receptions, 118 yards, averaged 9.1, had 2 TDs. Come on. And Tyreek had 11 targets. So Mahomes is getting it to him. Mahomes was 29 of 38, 325 with 3 TDs. No interceptions.
Who was the MVP of that game?
I think it's. I want to give it to Tyreek just because some of those plays he made seemed like they were just backbreakers for Buffalo's defense. And Kelce kind of too.
Kelce, every third down, it seemed like Mahomes was throwing it to Kelce. Kelce was the absolute perfect possession receiver. This game.
Well, I heard a stat that Buffalo's defense is dead last against stopping opposing tight ends.
Yeah, no,
obviously
that doesn't surprise me because Travis Kelce had a huge game earlier. Also, keep in mind that you said something about Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs did not have a great game against us the last time we played him. Spags, man,
he just knows how to
the
do
defense, what he was running. It worked, and Buffalo didn't make any adjustments.
They didn't. And, last time we really ran the ball against them and a lot. And this time we really didn't. Running the ball wise, we didn't have
I will say
chance.
Buffalo seemed ready for us to run against them again because every time we ran, it just seemed like it was to keep them honest because we did not do well in the run game.
As a team, we had 1114 yards, so we did break 100.
Half of that was McCole Hardman.
Win one play. And then the other was Williams had 13 carries for 52. Mahomes had 5 carries for 5 yards, so nothing really. But on the Bills side, Stephon Diggs, just to kind of throw that out there, he had 6 receptions for 77 yards. So, I guess he had some pretty good plays. He got that big one right there at the end. It was 34, so he had one play that was 34.
Yeah, no,
that was kind of garbage time, though, right? We were up by 3 scores at that point.
No, Buffalo was ride or die with Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs was the best thing to happen to Buffalo. He's one of the major reasons why they were in the position they were in.
Yeah, 100%.
And honestly, they needed Stephon Diggs to go 152 touchdowns. They needed him to go bonkers today, and he had a very pedestrian day.
I think that just kind of going back to what I was talking about with the hot takes is I don't think anybody really thought that the Buffalo was going to win this game. If you've watched the Chiefs play, whenever they play somebody who's tough, they just they don't hold back. And I feel like sometimes against the Falcons, they know they don't have to do everything they can. They don't have to open up the playbook. Andy don't want to show that stuff off. And so they run real conservative plays. They do what they have to win. And then they bust those plays out in games like this, and they scored 38 points.
So...
And the final score, I don't know if I threw it up there. I was going to throw it up there. It is 38-24. The Chiefs win and advance to the Super Bowl 55.
Yeah, absolutely. So just so because I want to talk about this because it irritated me. I think it sets a dangerous precedent. Towards the end of that game, shit was getting spicy between the players, right?
On the Chiefs defense and the Bills offensive line.
Josh Allen drops back. We get him tied up. I don't remember the player that got him tied up, but that doesn't matter. Whistle goes off. Our guy Okafor, he played through the whistle. Yeah, and he hit Josh Allen.
It wasn't an illegal hit.
It was through the whistle. I definitely thought,
but it wasn't head to head. No, it was legal. The way that it was hit would have been fine. It deserved
a flag, but it wasn't malicious.
Yeah,
I don't believe there was malicious intent. I don't think it was flagrant. It deserved a flag. So what transpired after that? Josh Allen threw the ball at Okafor's head.
Yeah.
Okay, so which honestly, other than just being pissed off that you're about to not go to the Super Bowl, like that's not going to affect Okafor in any way, shape, or form. So, okay, cool. Josh Allen gets a flag. But then 2 Buffalo Bills offensive linemen treated Okafor like they were trying to like prison gank him out of their gang. Like, right, one comes up, hits him down, the other one like chucks him back down on the ground, and the ending result was 2 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalties, and then they decide that every single one of these is offset, which is fine if that's in the rule book, right? That's fine. But my point is, does that mean that any time there is a penalty, and you know that there's a penalty, you can just go balls to the wall on the
offensive
opponent?
Side can do what they want, or the opposing side who don't have the penalty, and it's just going to cancel it out.
That's going to come up again, man. I'll tell you what I think should have happened. One, whenever there's double penalties like that, you decline one and you accept one, right? Like that's how it is. That should have been a 15-yard penalty. Josh Allen, Okafor, offset, 2 unsportsmanlike penalties after the fact. You decline one, you accept one. They should have been pushed back.
That's what should have
yards.
happened.
I don't know if that's in the rule book, but I'm telling you, man, like that's dangerous. Like they didn't have to stop.
Yeah.
Right? What are they going to do? Get another unsportsmanlike penalty? Yeah, maybe they get kicked out of the game, but at the end of the day, the ending result of the game should have also there should have been some repercussion in the field of play. And it boggled me. So, I mean, we won. I'm not trying to cry about it.
One-handedly too. They scored. I mean, if you really look at this game at a whole, they scored one of their touchdowns off of a muff punt by McCole Hardman. The other one they got in garbage time.
Yeah. No, you know what? So, go Chiefs, man.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy we're going back to the Super Bowl. I feel like there's a dynasty of brewing, and I'm stoked.
I'm super stoked about it. I was, like I said before, the Chiefs mean a lot to me. My dad showed, he's the one who kind of brought me into being a Chiefs fan, showed me football and sports in general, and I'm glad they're winning. So,
all right, man. So next week we'll do a little bit, since there is no football, but there, that'll be kind of our preemptive. Super Bowl. We'll talk a little bit more about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, do a little pre-Super Bowl show.
Yeah. So. Other than football, I know it's hard to come down from what we just witnessed, right, man? Because this is something like, we won it last year, but it's just something that it's really hard to come down from. The fact that we're witnessing it again, it's just been, you said it. It's a great time to be alive and be a Chiefs fan.
I'm just so happy.
Yeah, so it's going to be really, really hard to get in that pissed off liberal mindset that we had last week. It's hard to hate life right now.
It is, but I do want to talk about some politics.
What do you got?
Well, there's 2 things really that I was thinking about this week, and I wanted to talk to you guys about. And first is we're starting off. Biden's in office, and have you guys seen all the QAnon people just crying and losing their shit?
Yes.
It's been worse this week. People are they finally figured out what the deal is. So.
It's hilarious because I saw so many people. They're like, I can't believe he lied to us about what was going to happen, and I can't believe Donald Trump lied to us, and the end result wasn't what he said it was going to be, and I don't understand. And it's there's a lot of stuff you don't understand.
Yeah, because he's lied to you about everything he's done. I don't understand. Did he drain the swamp?
Go back and check the tape.
He hired freaking Steve Bannon in his cabinet. He didn't drain no swamp. What are you talking about?
No, but and I said it during the football game. It goes without saying, but he said so much dumb shit while he was in office, just so much that you just forget how much he actually said. And I said it earlier. I go, you remember when he was thanking the people of Kansas for the Kansas City Chiefs winning? That town's in Missouri, but he didn't even know where it's Kansas City. It must be in Kansas. I was like, this guy's a moron, man.
Yeah. I actually think there's a lot of people who would probably agree with him that they don't know where Kansas City is, but
no, but but
those people aren't being Not the president, either a former president at this point.
Yeah, no, it's one thing to not know, like, how the Constitution works and how the rule of law works and how the executive branch works. If you're like Joe Blow working at like a plumber or whatever, it's a whole nother thing when the guy is actually the commander in chief of the country.
There was one video I seen, just kind of, I just wanted to talk about this. She's like crying and she's like, President Trump, you gotta come save us. It was the funniest thing I've ever, like, it, like, she meant it too. Like, that was the other thing. Marcus, my brother Marcus, he thought it was the funniest thing he's ever heard in his life. But I also wanted to just kind of bring up a couple things too. QAnon people need to realize that just because Joe Biden was elected, COVID is still a thing.
Yeah.
Like, COVID-19 didn't go anywhere. They got to do, and I know a lot of people are saying, oh, when the election's over and when Biden gets in, COVID would just all of a sudden disappear. Nobody would talk about it.
That's the first thing they addressed.
It's the first thing they addressed. Everybody's still talking about it. It's still a big problem. But it does seem like, and you can ask Dr. Fauci this, that there's actually people who know what the hell they're doing who's trying to fix the problem now.
Yeah, no.
I think that we'll see how quickly this gets resolved, and everybody's going to be like, oh, shit. Like, they were all freaking right. Like,
well, I don't know if, I don't. That would mean that, the majority of 70 million
I think
people,
a lot of sane people will. There's still going to be like the shaman guy, who was up there in the buffalo horns. He's still not going to think that, but he's a lunatic. So, but some sane people are going to realize, like, damn it, this COVID shit is real, and this is a terrible thing. So.
Yeah. So COVID's still out there, guys. Please mask up. Like, there's no reason. There's absolutely no reason.
And a mask ain't going to help you. Like, wearing a mask stops, like, you're asymptomatic from spreading to other people. So it's not like you're wearing it to protect yourself. So don't think like, oh, I'm tough, I can handle it. You're wearing it just in case, like my grandma's at the grocery store, you don't fucking give her COVID.
Yeah. You
fucking cocksucker.
Yeah, don't. Oh, man, I lost it. Yeah, don't murder my grandma.
Yes,
like that.
please.
That's all we're asking. I don't think it's too much.
Is that
to
the
ask.
title of this? Is it the title?
Don't murder my grandma.
Don't murder my grandma.
I love it. Yep, run it.
So the other thing was like Biden come out with his plan, and his plan seems legit. It's just like try to get the vaccine to as many people as you can and give it to people for free.
So a lot of people that came in and they were looking at the current infrastructure on how we were taking all the vaccinations and distributing them and how they were getting administered. And nobody had like this positive, optimistic, view on what the administration going out was doing, right? So nobody was like, oh, well, everybody thought it was broken, right? Well, then as the Biden administration comes in and starts looking at all the logistics of it, they realize there really wasn't a fucking plan at all.
Yeah.
And that they've got their work cut out for them. They thought they were going to be able to build upon the previous administration's plan and beef it up and make it better.
Their plan was literally do nothing.
Fucking zero.
Have you guys seen the South Park pandemic special?
I have not.
Oh my gosh. And that it's President Grayson.
It's Garrison.
Garrison, yeah. His plan is to do nothing because COVID really affects, and this is terrible. Like I personally, like, it's terrible to say this, but this is South Park. It affects minorities, Mexicans, and blacks worse. And so by doing nothing, he's fulfilling his promise of getting rid of all the Mexicans and blacks.
Do you think that's far from the truth?
I don't know. Like, after more stuff comes out, it seems like it may be a little bit more true.
When you've got, I don't want to start conspiracy theory, but like, honestly, like,
I can't wait. There's going to be a second episode of that pandemic special. I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what South Park does from all of this, because they're usually pretty poignant and timely with what they make fun of.
I could see like Garrison trying to start a civil war and like
right, like the QAnon shaman. Like,
yeah.
What are they going? That character is going to be.
Oh, he's going to be in there because yeah, for sure. Like that's going to be.
I don't watch South Park anymore.
You're missing out, really. It's pretty good. I know you said you didn't have HBO Max, right?
No.
They have all the episodes on HBO Max, and that's where the pandemic special airs.
You know,
I think it didn't it air on Comedy Central.
Probably, but yeah, I saw it.
They had it on other streaming services. And don't get me wrong, like I watched a lot of South Park like in my teens and in my 20s. And I don't want to say I outgrew it because there's a lot of shit that I watched that's probably less politically like
I kind of got away from South Park a little bit, but it actually is kind of a current events political type show. Like it's really funny, but they make it in like, I don't know if you've seen that documentary. They make it in a week.
Yeah.
So like so that's how they keep up with everything so current.
And it's not just South Park. Like I've really like I don't watch the Simpsons. I used to love the Simpsons. I haven't watched the Simpsons in probably a decade. Not like any of the newer episodes. So like I mean it's I don't know. I just that's not my jam anymore. So but I did watch the South Park movie, which that dated terribly.
Yeah,
but to be honest with you, like, and it's like 23 years old now, right? I still laughed like I was a 13-year-old kid and like watching it for the first time.
Right.
Like,
Now, what do modern people think of all those references from the South Park movie? Because like at this point, like Saddam Hussein and Satan, like those are. Satan is still around, of course, but Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, he's not.
Satan's not even a thing anymore.
Well, kind of to talk about that though for a minute, they really talked about a lot of things that were prominent just this last year.
Yeah, no,
like Operation Follow the Darkies. Like come on, like they were talking about racial injustice in the military, and and really just all throughout everybody was cool with Operation Follow the Darkies. It made sense, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
like
how fucked up America's been for how long. Yeah, Team America too. Yeah,
that was all around at like the same time South Park movie came out, and then a few years later, it was Team America.
Yeah,
America.
But one of the best theme songs. Yeah.
It made me proud to be an American.
Yes, it does. I listen to it every 4th of July. Like I have to. Like I just some people have the national anthem. It's good, but I rock the Team America theme song.
So Joe Biden's the president, right? When we posted our episode 3, that was Inauguration Day. It was relatively quiet.
Yeah, one guy showed up, like they showed in the news who was there to support Trump, and there's one guy.
Yeah, no, and Trump didn't show up. And I just like picture like the people like MAGA and the fascists and the nationalists and Parler and QAnon and my God, just a basket of deplorables.
Well, Parler's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, but like the people formerly associated with Parler, and they were just sitting there, and he was getting into the helicopter, and they're like, he's just gonna fly around and he's gonna come back, and then he lands at the airfield, and they're like, he's not gonna get on that plane, and then he gets on the plane, and then they're like, he's gonna land. And he's going to come back and save us. And then he just flies to Mar-a-Lago. And then they're like, okay, maybe we backed the wrong horse. maybe I don't think he's coming back. Jim, I don't think he's coming back. What the hell are we supposed to do now?
He gone.
He said he was going to go to the grocery store to pick up some Diet Coke and never came back.
Yeah, dude, don't you think that's what they are? They're like,
exactly.
Oh, my dad went and picked up a pack of cigarettes and oh, when's he going to be back? I don't know. He left 10 years ago. Like, that's literally going to be them in a decade.
He went to go pick up some scratchers. I guess he won because he didn't come back. I hear Donald Trump needs to probably be playing some scratchers. I hear he's in a lot of debt and he needs some money.
Scratchy lotteries?
Yeah, he's a little broke.
No.
A little broke, old man Trump.
I don't think he's broke by any means, but they are going to start calling in his debts. I don't know what's going to happen with Donald Trump. But I know he's not going away.
I think it's going to be a shit show, and it could be pretty funny to watch. I'm not a Trump fan. I've never been a Trump fan. Again, I've said this before. I didn't watch a stupid fucking show.
Really? Never a Trump fan?
No.
I wouldn't have thought that.
I never watched. Well, I'm talking like I never watched a stupid fucking show he had. I never watched anything he's ever done on TV. He was the worst part about Home Alone 2. Like, let's be honest. I don't like Donald Trump, right? But just as a person, I don't like him. I think he, I don't know.
So, I think we should do what would be what I wish America would do with Donald Trump. And let's just leave him alone and stop, like, and hope he just kind of fades away.
I hear he's going to start another political party. He's really mad at the GOP, so he wants to start a new political party.
Do you know what the best part about this is? Like, I heard that too, and I was just sitting there thinking, that's actually probably gonna get some gains, and they're not gonna win any seats. I really don't think they'll win seats.
The problem
but I'll tell you what they're gonna do.
It'll take seats away from other Republicans.
I know they're gonna split votes.
They'll
man.
split the Republican vote.
What are the Republican Party like? I wonder if you strip all the like racism and nationalism and fascism and all those isms, and you take the MAGA out, and you take all those people that just like want to build the wall, and you strip the Republicans down to just core conservative, fiscal, church-going, but not like the crazy churchgoers that back Trump. How many people actually exist in the Republican Party? And I kind of wonder if it's a 50-50 split. But I'll tell you right now, like, If he was to actually make an effective party, and there was actually boots on the ground and fundraising and got these people up, that's a real good way to have 80 Democratic senators. Like, and like, we wouldn't even have to do anything.
So some of these like crazy Trump people though have won seats. Like this lady in Colorado, and I wanted to bring her up. That Lauren Boebert, who is trying to like carry a gun on the Senate floor and shit, and like do all that kind of. Have you seen that? Where she's like she's gonna carry her Glock in Congress because you're not gonna tell her what to do with her Second Amendment right. And these rules about no guns have been in place since the Civil War.
Yeah, no, and isn't that remind you? And this was before Trump, but remember when it was, we'd stop school shootings if the teachers had guns.
Oh, so yeah,
it was just like, just add more guns. Oh, you got a problem with guns? Add more guns. Not enough guns.
Yeah, guns. Give teachers guns.
And like, I know me and you have vast different opinions about gun control.
Yeah, I personally, like, I grew up in a small town. So for me, I have grown up with guns, and they're like really a part of what I do. Like, I shoot guns a lot. Like, I hunt, and I do a lot of outdoor shit that Missouri kids would do, right? And like, I still do that. I'm a big kid right now.
As a veteran, I've shot all sorts of guns.
Yeah, and
weapons. And
I think they're great. I love them. But I also know that a gun is not a toy. It could be fun, but it's a tool.
I know my way around one, but it's funny because it's not about me or you. Like, right? Like, it's about the and that's where my gun control philosophy is like, we make fun of a lot of people on this podcast, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of Karens that come into my place of work, or we talk about these half-cocked people, and I go, gun control's not for me. Gun control's for the fact that, like, those guys are allowed to carry guns too.
So it's not for me. I think that a lot of the things with guns and stuff like that, I understand the concern. Man, I didn't know we were going to talk about gun control today, but here we go. So I understand the concern with guns and all the school shootings and mass shootings and stuff like that. My thing is, I really don't believe that if somebody wants to do something like that, I really think they'll find another way to end up doing something like that. So I don't think that taking away guns is going to stop that, really. I also don't think that there's any difference because, like, if you get a deer rifle, it holds like 7 or 8 rounds. Like, you could, probably put somebody down with that, like, almost just as quick. Like, I understand, like, it may, like, I think that, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I don't feel like banning, like, assault weapons or anything is going to stop the problem that we have. I think that what we got to do is we got to really educate people on guns, what guns are for. And I am for more restrictions, like better background checks, better, if you have mental health trouble, maybe you shouldn't have a gun. Maybe that should be a reason why, maybe you could have a gun, but maybe you just have to wait a month or something to get it. That is not, it's not infringing on your right, like, to own a gun. You can, but it's just like, it may stop somebody like, oh, I'm impulsively going to buy this gun and go, shoot a bunch of people. And the other thing is I just think education. I think also mental health awareness too. Like, you got to help we got to do more. We're so bad at mental health. Like, we have this real stigma about it, and like, you know, and that's like the big thing is like a lot of these people, they're scared to talk about it, they're scared to go get help, and they end up kind of, you know, straying down the wrong path. And really what they need to do is just sit down and probably like smoke some weed and chill out, and they probably wouldn't have, you know, nowhere near the trouble. But we don't get people help, and so they end up resorting to violence to try to solve their problems.
So, okay, I think I've got an idea. So there should be checks and balances on guns. I'm really worried about what you said about the mental health thing, because I think telling people that we're going to take their guns away if they've got mental health issues.
I didn't say that.
Well, no, I mean, like, if they've got a history of mental health issues, maybe, you know, maybe they shouldn't own a gun.
I think if they got a history of mental health issues, that but they have to be like also a history of like violence.
Okay.
Like, you know, if you're just you know, like if you look back at all the school shootings and you look back at like a lot of these mass killings and stuff, a lot of these people had violent tendencies before they even got to this point.
That's probably true. So what are some like off the wall things that you would say maybe you don't deserve? I'm going to go a little bit less serious for a second. Just if this person does this, they shouldn't own a gun. So my first one is like, if you're over the age of 30 and still wear like the Afflicted t-shirts.
You hate Afflicted. You've mentioned those twice.
Yeah, no,
2 or 3 times.
as a former bouncer, and like you always knew when there was like a UFC fight going on. Like, I didn't follow UFC, but I always knew because every fucker like would have those Afflicted t-shirts, and every single one of them would want to start a fight in the bar because everyone's all of a sudden Conor McGregor because they got to watch it on TV. Anyway, but with that being said, that like I've never met a guy in an Afflicted t-shirt that I was like, that's a cool guy.
If you don't,
that's a real cool guy.
If you don't return your shopping cart to a designated area, you don't get to own
Oh,
a gun.
there you go.
There you go, Grayson. Now we're picking up steam, man.
I might be able to get down for that. If you don't signal, like
that's
changing
another great
lanes or turning, that's a pretty good one.
If you don't use your turn signal, you don't get a gun.
No, but in all honesty, though, like I would say, I think like obviously people with violent crimes,
Okay.
and that's really about it. I think for me,
If you don't rinse the knife after you put the peanut butter on your sandwich to put it into
You don't
the
deserve
jelly
a gun?
jar, you don't get a gun either.
You mean like if you're no, that's right. Like, so if you're using the peanut butter, right, and you spread it,
And then you get it in the jelly jar.
and then you get in the jelly without cleaning it off. Exactly.
You don't
Okay.
get a gun anymore.
No, you're a fucking psychopath. You don't get a gun.
okay. So hold up, I am okay with that because the jelly goes in the fridge, so the peanut butter's fine. The bad part is the reverse, and the reverse is when jelly gets in the peanut butter because peanut butter stays in the cabinet, right? Do you guys
What
keep peanut butter?
lunatic is putting jelly on their sandwich before the peanut butter?
I know it's double bad, right?
No,
like it's
no.
a 2-time.
That
It's like
person also
No,
doesn't get a
no,
gun.
no, that person don't get a gun.
no
either.
guns for you.
No.
No guns for you. Anyone else? I've got like a whole gang of that shit. Like, honestly, if you talk to somebody, and when you're talking to somebody that you just met, and you call them bruh, and it's not ironically as like a funny thing, like, hey, I'm saying this because those guys that say that are douchebags. Like, if that's in your vocabulary as a serious like way to talk to another human being, you don't get a gun. Like, that's, I'm sorry, bruh.
I don't
you
know.
know guns for bruh.
I don't know if those people want to buy a gun. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. All I know about them is they skip leg day. Or they don't skip leg day. I don't know what's cool anymore. Friends don't let friends skip leg day. Bruh. If anybody says that to you, they don't get a gun. All right?
Yeah, I kind of think so. Like, whenever you're shopping and you take a product off the shelf, you should pull the rest of them forward. Like, if you don't do that, you can get small caliber guns. But if you do that, like, you get access to all of the guns because you're just a cool person.
Oh, there. Yeah. You get flamethrowers, like
If you throw your
bazookas.
trash away in a trash bin, you get a gun. Like, you get access to all the guns.
Oh, washing your hands after going to the bathroom every time.
If you take your dog to a park and, like, don't clean up after him, no fucking gun for you.
Absolutely.
You don't get a gun. There should be, these are great rules that we need to write down. And it can be I actually believe it could be a living document that, like, as we come up with more reasons, we can just continue to write down reasons.
That dog thing also applies. If you're walking your dog through a neighborhood and it poops in a yard that isn't yours, you should also pick it up there.
Oh, that makes you mad.
No, absolutely.
There's some jackass who does that on my street.
Like, I kind of get it. Like, I'm definitely one of those nature people. It's like, hey, it's nature. It'll take care of itself. But, like,
if you're in the woods, I understand.
Yeah,
but if you're in, like, a play area where people are going to be walking, or a trail, I went down to Sequiota Park in, here in Springfield, here locally, and right on the middle of the trail, it looks like a freaking horse shit, like right in the middle of it, on the concrete and everything.
Well, it's
I
because
was like, are you ridiculous? Like, what is this?
That's a godless land of goose people.
Like, oh.
That's just gooses out there, man.
No, this was a...
Human?
It was a dog shit, is what it was. But it was massive, and I imagine that's why he didn't clean it up. He may not have had a shovel. But... Oh, anyway.
I started something that I'm sorry. This is
I was trying to. I thought we were trying to be a little bit more serious about that, but yeah, just to kind of be serious about it. What were we talking about before? We were talking about man, we just went off the rails here with this. Like,
I know.
Like, we are derailed at this point.
We were talking about how you don't want people to murder your grandmother.
I don't want that with masks. That was like wearing a mask, right? That was wearing a mask.
If you refuse to put on a mask because you feel like it's your God-given right.
How did we get to gun control? What brought that up?
But if a social, okay, if you're a business owner and you believe in individual rights, which most of these anti-maskers do, right? And the business owner decides that you have to have a mask to go into their establishment, like, your personal right to not wear a mask does not supersede the business owner, the property that you're walking into, to not wear a mask, right? Those people don't get guns either. I'm sorry. There you go. They don't get guns either. If they go, it's my right not to wear a mask. It's my right to just refuse service to you. And that's okay. Right? I mean, like, we're all okay with Christian bakeries, like, not letting, like, homosexuals, like, have their their wedding cake.
Their Christmas cake.
Their Christmas cake. Their Christmas cake. Their wedding cake. Like, oh, you guys don't get wedding cake because it would infringe upon my beliefs, and it's my right to refuse service to everyone. But I'm also the person that's going to walk into the local Walmart and tell the minimum wage worker that's like, here, we've got these masks to give you to go fuck yourself because you're infringing on my rights. What kind of pompous bullshit is that?
Especially when you're like, we talked about this last week too when it comes to retail. The people who are giving out the mask have no say on whether or not that you get to wear, if you can or cannot wear that mask. They're just doing what they're told. And they're told if people don't have a mask, you got to give one, and then you got to wear it. And so to yell at those people make you just a garbage person.
Right.
Like, it just, I don't know, it makes you just a super dick. Like,
super dicks don't get guns.
Just trying to wake up the sheep, that's all.
I think if we took guns away from people that, like, didn't, like, have just nice, like, things that are universally moral. Like, Republicans and liberals alike do not want people to leave dog shit in local parks, right? That's a bipartisan issue. That is, like, we don't let them have guns. Nope, you lost it. Your little card, you take the card away and say, no more guns for you. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm playing that joke way too long, but, like, I actually kind of believe in that. I think that's good gun control.
Yeah, I don't really, but, yeah, I mean, sure. But, also, they impeached Trump again. We all know that.
Yeah.
And this week, they're going to get the Senate is supposed to start the investigation.
Yes.
So, like, he can, even though he's not in office, he could still be impeached.
Well, yeah, no, removed from office
and blocked.
Yeah.
So they can still do that. I think
that's the biggest thing. I think they're trying to strip him of all his presidential rights after he become the president.
I'm curious, and again, like, me personally, like, fuck that guy. I think he probably should at this point. Like I said last week, listening to the speech again, he knew what he was doing. And they probably should strip him, and he probably shouldn't be able to run again. It's what they should have done to Hitler back in the day. But I'm also curious to see what the GOP if they are still backing him or not. I know our beloved Senator Josh Hawley, he's totally for, letting Trump get off. Just not pursuing it, not doing anything about it.
Yeah, no, he's.
I'm just wondering who else is going to be in on that.
Who are the realists?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know if this is
I think it could be a couple weeks before this even gets resolved, and it would honestly, if I had to guess, if I was betting on this one, I would say it probably doesn't happen. Like, what do you think, Grayson?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think everybody's trying to move forward. I do think would be a really good time for the Republicans to actually wash their hands of Trump, so that like in the future, when it does come to that party split that is probably inevitably going to happen, they can be like, no, we took a line, like we had a line in the sand that we're not with those people.
Yeah, if he gets removed from an office, he doesn't get a library. And I think that would be the biggest like smack in the face to him, because he lives to put his fucking name on buildings.
I just think of Donald Trump, that Zoolander. What is this? This is too small. Sorry, I butchered that.
That's okay.
You know what I'm thinking.
But no, like, I mean, and I don't know what happens in the Donald Trump library. I assume that there's a bunch of people in red hats burning the books as they come in. But
it's going to be the most defaced library. Like I bet Nixon's library would probably get more respect.
Does Nixon have a library?
Of course he does.
He has a library. I thought
he
because he didn't get removed from office.
He resigned.
That's why he should have resigned.
Like,
we're going to take his fucking library away. Just the idea of taking his toys away. I think that's the best part. Like the fact that he was like flying in Air Force One, and as he walked out, you knew he wasn't ever going to get back on that plane ever fucking again. And I think that's great. I think it's fantastic.
I did enjoy that as well, honestly.
I think the most fitting punishment for Donald Trump would be put him in a prison cell or like a jail cell, or just like keep him out of the public, away from like all of his people and makeup and all of the people that put him together for like 4 weeks, and then release him out into the public and do a press conference. Because what would he look like without 4 weeks of any type of treatment? Like if he was in jail where he couldn't get access to any type of amenities.
Oh, it'd be like he's so pampered, and that brings me to something else. I did want to answer your other question first, though. Is the reason why that I'm curious on who sticks with them is who's still wanting those votes,
right? No,
so that's a big one. I'm wondering who still wants those Donald Trump voters. The other thing is, like, did you hear that he has a button, and it was like a little box, and you like open it up, and it was a red button, and you push it. And then someone would show up with a Diet Coke on ice on like a silver platter for him, and it was this Coke button, like a Diet Coke button. Anytime he wanted, I say like a Coke button, like Scarface, but it's a Coke. So like anytime he wanted one, he'd hit the button, and somebody would come in with a Diet Coke. And they said that he would show that off, so like people would come in and be like, "Look at that, here's the red button," and then and then he'd be like, "Push it, see what happens," like boom. And then he's like, he'd probably do like a joke, like boom. Or something, I'm guessing. But then somebody would come in and be like, "See here, look, it's right here, right away. It's awesome. We're so efficient here, doing the best."
What's so sad about that? He probably has a button for a drone strike that would like wipe something off the face of the planet.
Yeah, right next to him.
Which is way more impressive than someone that from the other room to walk a Coke in. That's a text message, bro.
Can't you just see him though? Be like, I just picture like your old like uncle that is like kind of goofy, and like he's just like push the button, and then you push it, and he just like boom, like jumps at you. I can just see that. It's
funny, and then he like arms a couple nuclear weapons just to see like the globe react to that. Like everybody starts moving their troops around. It's like, that's impressive. Not a Diet Coca-Cola around the corner.
Yeah, like what literally like there's like, oh, you mean the vending machine? It's like right there. Like what are you talking about?
Yes, but they put it in the put it on
but it's on a platter.
Plate.
It's on ice. It's great. It's so great.
It used to be cube ice, but now it's crushed ice. I don't prefer cubed ice. I like the crushed.
I got the McDonald's app on my phone, and I can just order a Diet Coke and like go pick it up right now.
Yeah, I know. It's super simple. Uber Eats it here. But.
Guys.
Hold on. Before we get to that, I got one other thing I want to talk about. Just because we started it last week, and that's WandaVision for everybody who followed WandaVision.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it with you.
Shit. Newsflash: weed affects the memory.
Grayson, did you watch WandaVision?
I did watch it.
Cool, because like everyone else is going to be spoiled. I just want to make sure that you didn't get spoiled.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
All right, spoilers moving forward for WandaVision, and then right after this, we're going to have some questions from listeners.
Yeah, right on.
All right, so going right into it, this episode was significantly better. I don't know if it was just because it was in color, or like if I just don't like black and white TVs. Sorry, I am a millennial, but I do think it was a significantly better episode. It also kind of seemed like it was like stuff was getting more fleshed out, right?
Right, like that. I think that's kind of part of the juxtaposition with the classical television. By this era in TV, it started to have more substance. Like you started to learn about like family life, and people had personal issues, and you learned about like actual things going wrong in people's life.
Yeah, there was more drama,
like
right?
the whole Brady Bunch thing. Like there were so many of those social issues that came up in the Brady Bunch. Like, oh, I'm not popular, I'll never fit in, and that's never really been shown off before. And so now, as we're getting into that era in WandaVision, it's a lot more serious. Like some of the intense stuff that kind of happened, like the neighbors and stuff, super interesting.
Brandon, just open it. Like, Brandon's sitting here trying to be really quiet, opening this drink, and it's just like
okay. So every episode, I'll have 2 drinks, and I usually crack both of them open because I know that I'm going to go through one of them. And I just panicked and had this small panic attack as Grayson was talking because I had this can. I go, oh no, I didn't crack my second can.
I could see the panic on his face, and I just wanted to relieve. I just wanted to relieve you.
Mic. Everything gets picked up on this mic, and I'm like, Grayson's going to be talking. And then I was just like, well, maybe I could cough.
Oh man,
we'll fix it in post.
But yeah, that was I don't know, that was one of those. I was gonna tell you, like, man, I gotta. Anyway, like what you were saying, Grace, that makes a lot of sense. Like how they were like, because in that time they were doing a lot more realistic, serious stuff. You know, talking about more realistic stuff, and they started doing that with this episode. So that was pretty cool as an artistic standpoint. That's a really cool way to look at it.
I think they put a ton of thought into this show. Like, I think it's going to be interesting once it's all finished. I think we're going to have like that big aha moment, and then want to rewatch it again to see all the things that they've referenced to throughout. I think all the neighbor stuff is interesting. It's also Vision seems to be acting like an individual, so that makes me think that he's alive, or some part of him is actually there, and it's not just a construct of Wanda.
So if you get into the comic books, though, Wanda has the ability to create realities, alter realities, and she, the kids, they had 2 kids in this episode. They had twins, and they are named. They're in the comic books as Billy and Tommy. They're the superheroes Wiccan and Speed, and that's actually from the comic book. But they find out though that they're created out of her. She altered reality to create
her chaos magic.
Yeah. And so, I wonder if she couldn't do that with Vision. She can't heal Vision in that way as well.
I could see that.
And maybe that's where this is ending, is maybe she's trying to. I definitely think that you were spot on when you said that it's her universe. She's the one controlling it.
She kicked Geraldine right the fuck out.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if I kind of picked it up on my second viewing of the episode. Some of the backgrounds are painted. They're not.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was super.
The neighbor's background.
Right.
Yeah,
they did that, and they did that like they would be back in the old shows, right? The old 70s TV shows. And if you notice, what about Her Magic? It was all like 70s looking TV effects. Vision running was also kind of 70s style TV effects.
That Geraldine scene really made me uneasy. It's one of the. It's kind of like in Inception when they're in the dream and the dream people realize that there's an intruder.
Yeah.
It gave me that exact same feeling of we need to get out of here now. We are in danger because we've been found out.
That's exactly what it was like. She figured out, she mentioned something. So I watched another spoiler thing about this, and I can't remember which one it was, or I'd give credit, but they were talking about how whenever you go, you may be able to break into the reality, but once you do, her powers are strong enough that it alters your reality. So you don't even realize that you're there until something happens that kind of jogs your memory.
Also, that whole dream idea, I don't know if you guys read much or read anything about lucid dreaming, because that's usually it when you can become conscious in your dream.
Yeah.
And it takes a trigger to realize that you're in the dream world. So maybe that's something that they're kind of getting into.
Oh,
but
so
like
maybe
also,
she is dreaming, but there's like a barrier or something that they were trying to crack into at the end of that episode when they kicked her out. She's obviously a member of some kind of organization. I think it's Sword. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, because there's sword emblems everywhere. And then the whole like little world that she's created is basically surrounded by these like military special forces, and they're trying to get in and stuff. And that's what they said, that the neighbors and stuff like that were trying to say, like, that's what she is, right? She's trying to get in.
Do you think the neighbors are regular people? Because I was kind of wondering that too. Like, if she was in a location and then like made a bubble around her, it would include everybody around her. So would that be average folk?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because I don't know if the neighbor, what's the neighbor, the guy who was cutting the concrete?
I can't remember anybody.
I can't think of his name, but I don't want to say it was Carl. But he maybe like he kind of seemed like when he was talking to Vision that he was a sword agent, but I don't know. So
because like
that's
there's also
a good question.
The doctor that was there, like that delivered the babies. He seemed.
He definitely seems like he could be just a person, right?
Right.
Like
just
his a guy.
His wife was there too. So if you think if it was a military installment, they wouldn't have husband and wife. Like maybe they could. I don't know anything about that life.
They could if it was a base. I think there's like.
So that's true. I kind of get some vibes. I don't know if you guys saw the movie Annihilation, where where there's like that bubble that takes over a portion of the map, and then the military is trying to contain it, and they keep on moving their bases back and back because it expands out.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's a situation like that where
that's really interesting.
Where they're currently in some type of the old forward operating base, and then her reality bubble's expanded out, so they've had to move their border back so they could continue research on it.
That's pretty interesting. I'm more interested to see where this show goes now that we kind of got a little bit more information.
Now that you have a 16:9 ratio to look at.
Yes. And is there a how many episodes do you know we're getting this? 8 or 10?
No idea.
8?
Yeah,
only
I'd heard
8.
And we're already at 3.
Yeah,
only 8.
That's terrible.
That's sad.
Ain't that what they do with the Mandalorian too? It's just 8.
Probably.
Man, Mandalorian's such a good show.
Don't they realize we want more?
leave them wanting more.
Yeah,
that's kind of
they just
that's kind of like the number one entertainment.
All right,
thing.
outro music, everybody.
I'm coughing.
So guys,
COVID.
I did a thing for all of you guys that listen. I went ahead and posted up and asked viewers of the podcast to just ask us questions or give us topics that they wanted us to talk about. Because at the end of the day, like, we're doing this for the viewers, right? Like, that's like, we love podcasting, and we want our voices heard, but really we want people to listen and tell us what they think. And so I thought this was like just a way that we could engage with some of our viewers. And we did get a few people. Some of them asked multiple questions. I'm only going to get to a couple per user. So are you guys ready to delve into some of our listeners?
I'm interested to hear.
Okay, so the first one's just a story in reference to our episode 2, and I thought this was really, really cool, and I'm just going to read it straight. It's from Michael. So he said, in your second podcast episode, you guys talk about customers very rarely apologizing for being rude. If you guys remember, Grayson had a story about someone coming back and apologizing. Well, about a month ago, I had a guy come in and try to refuse a mask. Well, that seems like something relevant. We've talked about it this episode. In our business, we make no exceptions at all. And when I wouldn't let him in, he called me every name in the book and tried to play the veteran that fought for my rights card. But I still told him, no mask, no entry. He called the mall manager, I guess his store's in the mall, and told him that I forced him to traumatize his kids by making him cuss at me so much. This guy does not get a gun. Anyway, well, a couple days ago, he came back with him and his kids, and they were all wearing masks. He apologized to me because a couple days after the incident, he got COVID and had to go on oxygen. He nearly died. Felt good for the universe to give me some sort of justice like that. So that story...
well, Michael, you should have told that guy to go fuck himself, is what you should have told him. Because just like we kind of talked about earlier, that's why you wear the mask. It ain't like you're not infringing on your right. You're trying to protect somebody. How many people did that guy... Michael's lucky he didn't get COVID from that guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, anybody this guy's come in contact with, everybody he was yelling at wherever this establishment was, is all now exposed to COVID.
Two things about this.
Fuck that guy.
Well, and maybe he didn't have COVID during the incident. Maybe he
not,
did. Maybe
but
he
he could have.
But there's two things that hit me with this. One, it took the guy nearly dying to change his point of view.
Yeah.
And I talked in the last episode that I don't think some of these guys that went crazy fascist or crazy MAGA are ever going to come back to like center. They're not going to come back to reality. Like, it took this guy nearly dying before he went, well, shit, maybe I should wear a mask. Like, the more you know. So that's the first thing. And that's scary. I mean, I'm glad he got the wake-up call. I'm glad he's not dead. But the second thing, and I will say this about him, it takes a really big man to come back with his kids and apologize.
I will.
And basically walk his kids in gear and go, I didn't treat this guy right, and I need to go apologize
No.
to him. There is a slice of humanity there.
No, I do agree. That guy can be saved, and he should probably get a gun.
I'm not. No, I was about to say I'm not giving him his gun back, but
like he made the right decision in the end. He was a man.
Yes. So
and he went in and he owned up to his mistake, and he called himself out. So good props to that guy.
Yeah.
But he was a dick for not wearing a mask.
And Michael, thanks for sharing that, man.
Yeah,
for one, it means that you at least listened to our second episode. So
find me on Twitter, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's Tyler Hicks 15 at Twitter.
All right, guys, I'm switching over real quick here. All right, I've got Alexa. She says she's our #1 fan.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks, Alexa.
Yeah, thanks, Alexa.
We got #1 fans? Man.
So she's got two questions.
It's a good day. Jeez, man. We got #1 fans?
We got a
Hell
#1 fan.
dog.
I never even thought about the fact that when we got a podcast that we'd actually get fans. And so that we get multiple fans that we had to pick a #1.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So we'll see, Alexa. We'll see if you're our #1 fan. But her question, and she had two, but I'm only going to do one because there's a few others that we want to get to. She said, do you guys have any strange phobias? If so, what? So that's I never thought about the fact that they were going to ask us personal questions. What's yours? What's mine?
Yeah.
So I have three. I have three that like are pretty poignant in my life. One is I'm scared of heights. Two, I'm scared of closed spaces. I get claustrophobic, right? And then three, I'm scared of spiders.
Oh, there you go.
I'm not like scared of spiders. Okay, so the height thing is cool. The height thing is we talked about this. We've talked about this before, but the height thing is cool because it just gives me a rush, right? But sometimes it does like cripple me. Like if I'm going up against something, like if I'm going to like go stare off like over a mountaintop and there's nothing stopping me from falling, like I will freeze, and it's really hard to snap out of.
So is that a fear of heights, or is it just a fear of falling? Because I don't think I have really a fear of heights, but I have a fear of falling. I know like sometimes I'll have a fear of like if I'm going down a real long set of stairs that I'm afraid I'm going to fall down these set of stairs.
Right, so is it more of a call to the void? Are you scared of you not being able to impulsively not jump? Or is it like the ground beneath me is going to fall and I will then fall off the cliff?
Or just you like lose balance and just fall off, like you just like stumble.
I have no problem. I have no problem riding elevators. I have no problem going to the top of buildings and looking out. Like I go up in the arch and the arch doesn't bother me.
Roller coasters.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with the roller coasters. In fact, I think I probably enjoy roller coasters more than some people that aren't scared of heights.
Yeah,
because it's more exhilarating.
I do. I really like roller coasters as well.
So that's great. But it's that openness and that like, so maybe it's a fear. I mean, you may be right, Tyler. It may just be a fear of falling.
Like, yeah, so like I know some people are really scared of heights. And
I'm not free climbing anywhere.
They can't be up like, I'm not doing that either. But like they can't be in the top of a building, like look down. I could be all the way up, look like right at the glass, like it don't bother me at all.
I didn't have a problem rappelling down walls in the Army, like 70 feet up off the ground.
So, yeah,
and,
I think I would have a problem with that
because I had a rope and I had something.
I would be scared.
I was in control of the situation. But if I wasn't, it would be like going up a ladder. Or when we were kids, we'd go up a water tower, right? And it's just that metal ladder. And so you just go up the side of it. I'd get about 2/3 up, and I would freak the fuck out.
We've all seen Dazed and Confused.
I will know, right? Like I would freeze up a little bit, and it would take me 3 times as long to do the last third of that ladder as the first 2/3. As I got up, I'd start to really freak out, and I'd start thinking in my head like I could slip at any moment. And like that would be it. There's no rope to catch me, and it would just freak me out. And then I'd get to the top of the water tower and there's no rails. And I'd basically have to have 3 points of contact. Like my ass would have to be on the ground, and I'd have one hand on the water tank at all times, and I'd just kind of shimmy to the side. There was it freaked me out.
Yeah, whenever I was a kid, my dad, he used to milk cows, and in the barn we used to have a spot where the feed would go. So the feed goes in the top, and we'd have to climb up there and shovel it down into these troughs for the cows to eat as they were getting milked. And I hated going up the ladder, man. It was probably 10 or 12 feet in the air, but it was this scrawny, real shitty ladder that he just I don't know, it was the old ladder, and he just put it in there because he just wanted to get up in there. And I hated going up it. It used to make me so nervous. But then he ended up later on putting a sturdy metal ladder. He got a welder, and we were messing around welding. Me and him built it. That was fine. I could just hop right up. It was 10, 12 feet. It was solid on the ground. I felt fine on it. But I have this, like I was saying with steps, I can't do it. Sometimes Arrowhead is a good example. I was up at the top one time and I was looking down, and it kind of makes me nervous trying to walk down those steps.
You get that weird vertigo feeling?
Almost, yeah. But I know that, but I don't so that's what makes me think it's a fear of falling, because it ain't the height. I love sitting up there, that's fine. I'm completely fine. Standing up there, I'm completely fine. It's just the movement when I'm really high. I don't like that. I don't know. It's weird.
Falling down the steps at Arrowhead would be absolutely terrible. Up in the nose and falling down.
Oh man! And it especially if you had enough momentum and you end up skipping and hopping the rail. Oh.
Right. I hope that there would be a good Samaritan that would try to grab a hold of you to stop you.
Just in case anybody was wondering whether we were just a bunch of spoiled rich kids that decided to start a podcast. He's talking about the seats that are way up in the what we call the nosebleed section, or what we call the tickets we can afford.
Yeah, I was going to say, the one time I've been to a Chiefs game, it was way up there.
I had some really good tickets to Arrowhead a couple different times, but they were all bought on the company dime.
Yeah, so. No field level for us.
No,
not unless I don't want to pay rent. Okay, so and then spiders. Claustrophobia is there's a lot of people that are claustrophobic, but I am scared of spiders. I am not scared of spiders. If there was a spider on that desk and I knew that there was a spider there, I'd be fine with it.
It's the spiders you can't see.
It's the fucking jump gag spiders, man. It's those ones that are sitting there waiting to ambush and kill us. I hate them. I have no problem. If you owned a tarantula, I would let the tarantula crawl on my arm. Right? He's harmless. I know where he is. Now, if he was crawling on my arm and the next thing you know, I can't find him and I have no idea where he is, I'm fucking out of here. I'm getting out of here. You guys need to find the tarantula, and you need to I need to know where he is.
I'm pretty good with bugs. They would surprise me. I completely understand that. I think that's pretty human nature. If you turn over something and there's a spider there and going, ugh, that's expected. I usually try to definitely a c'est la vie. Hey, if you go do your thing, I'll do my thing. We don't have to hang out. But if you startle me, there was one time that a spider chilling on my couch dropped on my shoulder. I had it died. It crushed it to death.
And my guess is that you sang in an octave that you aren't used to singing in your vocal range.
Yep, I turned all the lights on in the living room, removed all the blankets, all the cushions, made sure there were no other spiders in the room, and then went back to my business.
I flipped over a couch one time, and the spider dropped down onto the floor, and I tried to move the couch so that I could continue to see it and keep my eyes on it, and I couldn't find the fucking thing. And I didn't sit on that couch for 3 months. And I was punching things and flipping. I was flipping couch cushions and I'm nope, Well, that couch is dead to me.
I had actually a brown recluse. I was cleaning out a shed earlier last year, and I had a brown recluse.
Recluse.
There you go.
Recluse.
Recluse. It jumped out of a little coffee can and jumped on my arm. But I don't try to slap it and kill it because I feel like that's how people get bit. Yep. So I just try to, like, my go-to is to flick them. Like, I just try to flick them off as soon as I can. So I just like, ha. So, like, because I don't want to, I don't want to, like, try to hit it and then it still be on my arm. I try to get it off my arm, like, as quickly as possible. It's hard for it to bite you
when it's moving at the speed of light.
Yes. Whenever I shoot that thing across that garage, it ain't gonna bite nobody. But,
yeah.
But snakes,
if you can't find his corpse, then you're freaking I am.
What about snakes? Like, snakes kind of freak me out, but mostly it's just poisonous ones. Like, I'm not really, or I guess let me be correct here. Venomous snakes. No snake is poisonous. They're all venomous. I'm kind of freaked out by those a little bit, but I don't like any snakes. And the only real fear I have of them is that like I won't notice one and it like bite me when I'm sitting on the toilet or something because I see those coming out of the toilet.
I have like rear view mirror vision when it comes to snakes and spiders.
Keep them.
Like objects in the rear view mirror appear closer and larger than they actually are. Like if a spider jumps out at me, like I swear to God, it's the size of my goddamn head.
Right? Yeah.
Like I was like, it was coming right at me, and it was 9 inches tall, and honestly it could be like 2-3 inches or something, and it's probably not even that. But I think it's like the largest spider. Like I think it's Arachnophobia the movie.
Right. I think it's because like spiders don't bother me from hunting and stuff. Like I've been sitting on the ground and I'll just like look and there'll be like a big tarantula like crawling on my leg and I'm just like, all right, get off here, little guy. Like I've had so much like especially growing up on a farm. Mm-hmm. I've been around a lot of spiders, been around a lot of snakes too. Yeah, but snakes still kind of freak me out a lot.
My feeling with snakes too. Grew up on the farm, so like there was always like blackheads in the hay barn because there were mice in there.
Yeah.
Like, and then you learn that which ones are venomous.
Yeah.
And you're just like, stay away from those ones.
Yeah, copperheads, rattlesnakes, they're basically the only ones you have to worry about around here. Water moccasins. Yeah,
no, I was about to say swimming. Like I've swam like in the lake up here, Table Rock Lake, and a water moccasin came within like 2 feet of my head, and I will tell you that I freaked out because you don't have any. Like you're in the middle of a lake, right. You don't have anything. Like it's just you and some swim trunks. And this water moccasin, and it freaked. That's probably the most freaked out I've been about a snake.
I've killed several water moccasins with a paddle on a canoe trip before. Like those guys, they're real curious. So you see one, they'll come at your boat, and like they'll kind of watch those little bastards.
Water moccasins,
super aggressive demon spawn is what they
exactly
are.
It. But like most of the other venomous snakes are pretty chill. Water moccasins and cottonmouths will chase you.
Yeah,
look out for those ones.
Well, I hope that was a good enough answer for you, our number one fan, Alexa. I've got another one. Let's see. Maria. Maria had 4 questions. I'm going to give her 2. 1, what is a conspiracy theory that you guys like believe in that most people don't? A conspiracy theory that most people don't believe in. I that's kind of vague. Right, like most people, but because most people don't believe in conspiracies, right? Like it's a minority,
and like that's kind of funny to say, like the popular conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Like the flat Earth one isn't that like a trendy one?
Yeah, you're like, I believe the Earth is flat. Well, no, she's wanting something. I think she's wanting something juicy.
Is 9/11 real? Illuminati.
Illuminati's. I would say that's a pretty popular one too, because like that one's been around for
lizard
forever.
People under the Earth.
I like the simulation theory. That one, in my opinion, is kind of gaining some popularity with the folks that have been talking about it. Where like we're living in a computer simulation, because. And it's also like it's absurd to think about like the justification for that is we either are in a simulation or we will eventually create the technology to make a simulation. So at that point you have a 50-50 chance of it being a simulation or not. Again, that's completely an absurd theory. It's a hard thing to think about. But the funny thing about it, like the more thought I put into it, if you really think about it, your brain is generating the world around you. So essentially your brain is a simulation because your brain makes sense of the waves that the light's bouncing off of and gives everything its permanence. atoms are mostly empty space, but there's still all of this physical stuff all around us. Like, I get why people subscribe to the simulation theory.
I don't know which mine would be. Mine would probably be like Area 51, I guess, like something like that.
So you think that there were actually aliens that crashed? It's a popular one, but still, like most people don't think that Area 51 is really a...
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's the fact that I think that maybe they know more about aliens. I still think it's highly unlikely they ever visited us, but some of it deep down, maybe it's just my old X-Files, fan in me is just, I want to believe. So
right, it's nice. And I think that's one of the funny things about conspiracy theories, because
people want to believe.
We all want to believe it.
Yeah, QAnoners wanted to believe that Trump was the God Messiah president. And
we all want someone to make sense out of all this chaos, and even if it's lizard people, like that feels better than nothing, right?
I might be able to get down on some lizard people. I don't know, like on that conspiracy.
So that like again, it's kind of back into that alien. Like if lizard people exist, aliens exist because lizard people are aliens, right?
Maybe, unless they were here first. Like, what's an alien? Something that doesn't belong.
LOL.
Yeah, we may be the aliens. You never know.
I believe in spiritual activity.
Oh yeah, that's a fun one.
I believe
like ghosts and stuff?
Yeah, like I think there are definitely haunted places in the United States.
That's like a cryptozoid. Like, is that what they're called?
Cryptozoology is like Bigfoots and
ghosts,
Loch Ness monster.
Like, there's some stuff I don't believe in, but like there's also like I don't subscribe to Bigfoot. That was actually one of our other questions, is if we thought Bigfoot existed.
Right.
I don't.
Nah, I mean, I think it's possible. I guess. Like, I think anything is possible. It's just very improbable.
I know there's a buddy of mine that really likes the whole Bigfoot mythologies. Talks about, I think it was on 2013, 2014. They discovered a new type of like primate in the Congo. So it was like the people that make the justification of how could a giant monkey creature go unnoticed in our forest for so long. Like it happens. Like there are giant creatures that get discovered all the time.
And I think that could be a possibility, right? And like, but what is Bigfoot? Like, everybody just seen like glimpses and stuff like that of him. And there wasn't that one picture.
Right, it was altered. It was a fake,
super fake. So,
I also to me, I like to piece all of those into one giant conspiracy theory. So like Bigfoot and Ghost, all of those are just other dimensional creatures that exist on our plane. So yeah, they're aliens, and Ghost are also aliens. And Bigfoot also an alien. Loch Ness monster,
Ghost
alien.
in the fourth dimension, right?
Right.
We talked about that.
I just feel like there's enough people that feel like they've witnessed spiritual activity that like I think there's something there. And I always have. Always have, man. When we were teenagers, we would go. There's a place down here called the Joplin Spooklight. We would go and check that out. There's a hotel that's supposedly haunted. Basically, if there was a place that was abandoned and creepy as shit, like we'd go ghost hunting.
I used to do that too, and I never caught anything. Never got nervous or anything like that.
Found way more hobos than I ever did Ghost.
But I definitely think
never found any hobos or anything. We just never found anything.
Oh, we would always shout out like, hobos, let us know. So if there were any, like they wouldn't startle us, and like they know we weren't there to hurt them. So like,
but I don't know. She asked that's my answer. I do think not all the stories about ghosts are real or anything like that, but I do think there's spiritual activity.
What are your conspiracy theories you like? Like the audience, we just heard.
Yeah.
Ours.
Yeah.
Hit us up. Yeah. Tweet us at crit_unclaim.com or on Twitter.
Or Tyler's really bad at plugs. Can we please let me do the plugs?
I don't know what my deal is right now. Like, I just feel completely out of it.
You guys know how to use Google.
I think my high off of the Chiefs winning has finally like come down, and I'm just like,
oh no, am I gonna have to carry the show for the last little bit?
No.
Okay, good, because I can't carry it.
But yeah, hey, but again, crit_unacclaimed at Twitter. Hit us up.
Yeah, or just jump on the Facebook fan page.
I'll get it right, Brandon. This is only the 4th episode. Give me time.
If you guys want to drop us a line, like via email, you don't want to like post it or DM us on Facebook, or maybe you're just not into Facebook. Also, you can go to the critically unacclaimed podcast.com, and we have a website because that's how legit we are. And you can actually drop us a line there. It goes straight to our Gmail account. So check out the website. We're really proud of it. Okay, so I got one more from Maria, and then I guess we'll probably just tie it all up. But I think this one's going to be lengthy. What are your thoughts on recreational/medical marijuana? She's asking 3 liberals in a room, I guess.
Well, I'm definitely for it.
Yeah, I think it should just be legal.
Yeah,
and then,
Missouri just passed medical, and I think before too long they'll end up passing. It'll just be legal, recreational, everywhere.
Once it's legal, people can do medical research on it.
Yeah,
and
it's been in Canada. Canada's done it for a year now, right? They've had it completely legal in Canada.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I don't think. Honestly, I don't know how people are still talking about it. I think everybody wants it legalized at this point, or the majority of the
prohibition has never worked, right? They had they tried that with alcohol and it never worked. Honestly, I kind of believe that making all drugs.
Yeah, I'm in that camp as well.
And the only reason I'm for that is I just think it ends up by having them illegal. It just tempts people more and provides people with money and means who are bad people and don't necessarily need it.
It supports a black market.
Yeah,
I don't know that I support all drugs being legalized, but I will say that
there's some that I don't think, meth probably should be legalized. Heroin's pretty bad. It's I think I will say this: it should be treated as a sickness and not a crime. So
yeah, and I hope that 20 years from now, 10 years from now, whenever, I hope eventually smoking weed is really just, oh wow, we've got a storm.
Oh, we got some thunder.
We got some thunder.
You guys hear that? A little ASMR thunder action.
I hope that marijuana is looked at like drinking alcohol.
Yep, and I think that's where it needs to be. I think it's slowly getting its way there.
I think it's better than alcohol, honestly.
Well, and that's fine, but I'm just saying the stigma, the stigma that there's nobody that smokes weed should be automatically put in the bad person category.
Right.
It should just be a person, and you're allowed, you can drink, and that's okay, and you shouldn't drink to excess. And you definitely shouldn't drink and drive. And I feel the same
smoke
way.
A ton of weed and drive either.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. You shouldn't smoke and drive.
Everything's better with moderation and responsibility.
And don't smoke too much. If you're smoking enough to where it's affecting your work and it's affecting your life, then you're doing it too much. And that's the exact same way.
Me on the podcast, I shouldn't have smoked so much.
Yeah, my feelings on having all the drugs legalized is, from the taxes that market generates, you can support programs to support addiction. Clean needle
stuff.
Programs, that's another huge.
And it also,
at the end of the day,
those same programs can also help we were talking about with mental illness
right.
and the gun control. So it's all this stuff kind of ties back in together.
Because intravenous drugs are not necessarily bad. It's skeezy. No one wants to poke themselves with a needle. Dirty needles is the problem. Hepatitis B, those communicable diseases
AIDS.
That comes from it. If you had a clean needle program, those problems aren't as big. And
then
you can focus on the actual addiction problem.
Instead of being the person that's marijuana is a gateway drug, why don't we use marijuana as the gateway to fix all the other issues with some of the other drugs?
I love there's a politician, old school, that talks about milk being the gateway drug for everything because everybody starts drinking milk.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my gosh, I'm just trying to destroy the podcast.
You can't take us out that easy.
Is that it? Is that all the questions?
Guys, do you want to do one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
I feel like Alexa's our number one fan, and we should probably pay homage to her, right?
Absolutely.
What is the most bizarre experience you've had at your work? And I'm going to preface this. Obviously, I don't know. I mean, I can't read. I can't ask her what she really meant by this, but I'd say, what's your most bizarre experience ever at work? No matter what, not just current job.
Man, so back in the customer service days, working as retail, as someone that checks folks out, one of the more bizarre ones is towards the end of the night in the summertime, people that are lonely come in to chit chat. I don't know if that happens everybody's business, but you see folks, they come in and they browse around the store, and then they just kind of come and hang out at the front and chit chat with you. Never to accomplish. Again, it's probably just lonely folk, and they know that I'm stuck there and got to talk. But
I would say it's probably something similar. When I was doing telemarketing stuff, I would get that a lot. People would just want to sit there and talk to me forever, and it was man, I gotta get another phone call, you know.
Right.
Like,
I also work in IT, which all IT experiences are bizarre.
yeah. I don't really have anything that's like super bizarre, I guess.
No big head scratchers, really. Like the bizarre situations I run into can really be traced back to like human nature, people not understanding something.
Oh,
a complete disconnection, like explaining someone that has no concept for a URL, like, oh, type this website into your URL, and they're like, what's a URL?
Yeah, they don't understand. I did have a couple, like, I don't know if they're bizarre, but they're funny, I guess. All of them revolved around when I was selling cell phones retail. Our boss had just bought a new truck, and it's like 2 days later, I sit there and watch this like customer back straight into his truck. And then there was another time at the same place where a guy was out there like panhandling, like, you know, trying to, like, you know, begging for money on the street, and he gets a couple dollars, comes in, pays a cell phone bill with it.
That's awesome.
That was like, I was like, man, this guy's garbage.
That's
but,
a capitalist right there.
I mean, hey, you know, you got to hustle, man. And like,
Hustle.
I ain't gonna knock anybody's hustle. I guess if you're making money, you're making money. So
So this could literally be an entire podcast for me, because I used to be a bouncer / DJ / bartender. So I'm going to go away from that, right? Because there was a lot of stories behind the scenes at like a downtown like bar. I'm going to go with when I first started selling cell phones. I did 10 years in cell phones. I started off working in the inventory part of it. I was at a headquarters, and I was just sending phones left and right, and I was really bad at it. And I told the guy that was in charge of me, I was like, man, I suck at this. And he goes, yeah, you really do. And I was like, but I'm really good with people. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I'd like to be a salesman. He goes, I'll get you into a store right away, because I was that bad at that job. So I get my first assignment, and it's just a 2-person store. There's literally just 2 people that work in this store. The hours it was a bad store. You know, there wasn't a lot of foot traffic. It was kind of off the beaten path. Like, it was bad location, right? And so you're always there by yourself. So I was closing one night, and 3 people came in, 2 guys and a girl. And they came in, and so since it's just me, right, and I'm selling cell phone, hey, welcome to enter random cell phone here. And they both kind of spread out. They all 3 kind of spread out, and I'm like, okay, they looked a little rough. I was like, maybe they're trying to rob me. Like, you know, they're all 3 going to different locations in the store, and the store wasn't very big. So I'm trying to like stay in between all 3 of them and try to keep my eye on them, and I'm just asking all of them questions, right? And like, hey, you know, oh, you looking at that? Yo, you're looking at the, you know, that case? Oh, that case is really durable. Oh, you're looking over here at this internet stick. Yeah, no, it's great. It plugs right into your laptop, and you get Wi-Fi. Like, it's fantastic. Oh, you're looking at the new iPhone, which at the time probably was like an iPhone 4S. And I was like, oh yeah, no, the iPhone's great, you know. And so I'm going through there. So they finally converge on me, and they're up, and like, we're looking at this tablet, and I look over, and they're asking me questions, and they want me to go to the back to grab them something. And I'm like, nah, like, you know, if you guys are wanting that, like, absolutely, I can sell it to you, and then I'll go grab it. And I look over, and I see that there's a gun tucked in one of the guy's waistbands. And he asks me, how many people like come into this store? They're like, you seem like all alone. Like, and I'm like, oh shit. Right? Like, this is kind of this is bad, right? And so I'm like, oh, you know, people come in from time to time, and they're like, you're like, it seems like a really bad location. And I was like, yeah, no, it's not great. And finally I'm like, I gotta do something. So I just tell the guy, I was like, hey man, you can't have that here. And he's like, have what? And I was like, the gun in your waistband. Like, we don't let guns into the store. And he's like, oh, this thing? It's not even loaded, man. And I'm like, you know, it doesn't matter. It turns out that it's not that we're anti-bullets. Like, we're actually anti the guns. So, like, you can take it out to your car. I'm happy to help you guys. And he's like, no, man, it's fine. Like, I'll just stay here. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Right? Because, like, what do you do? You call the cops? Like I can't get away from them. So finally, I turned to the other guy, And I was like, hey, is there anything I can do for you guys? Because I'm actually about to close. Now, keep in mind, I was about an hour and a half from closing, but I was like, I'm going to close up early today.
Right.
I'm like, I'm about to close. So is there anything that I can do for you guys? And the girl looks at me point blank and goes, I'll give you a blowjob if you give me that iPhone. And I'm like,
What color?
I'm like, I've got a girlfriend. That's all I could say, right? Like, it was like, I've got a girlfriend, and she's like, well, I'm not going to tell anybody. And I was like, there's cameras. Like, I'm like, never in my life have I ever.
You've never been propositioned.
I've never been propositioned so straightforward, and never in my life have I tried to think of so many different reasons why I shouldn't get a blowjob. But that. So
sounds like you made the wrong decision.
So I'm still in this situation, right? And I was like, ma'am, guys, I tell you what, like, I'm actually going to close. If there's nothing that you guys need, like, go ahead and go. And
was she attractive?
It was years ago. I remember thinking at the time, she's not like super bad looking.
No, so she was like a 5 or 6 or what?
I guess. I mean, but like, keep in mind that there's a dude still with a gun tucked in his waistband, and everybody seems unsavory at this point. And I'm by myself, and there is zero chance that they are going to basically. I don't. They would make it there just in time to put me in the body bag, right?
It sounds like you were also pretty new, and if you've watched any kind of horror movie, anytime you bring like sex involved, you're going to be the guy who gets killed,
right? So, that's Like, where are we going for this?
Yeah.
Like, in the back? Because that's where you guys want me to go. You guys, it's going to be more than the iPhone.
Yeah, they wanted to try to rob you or something.
So
try to blackmail you or do something crazy. Like, it was the best decision.
So they go and they're like, yeah, we're going to buy this case. And they're like, where's the cash register? And I'm like, son of a bitch. So finally I just go, guys, are you going to rob me? Like, are you going to take that gun and you're going to rob me? Because I'll just give you the money. I was like, I'll be honest, giving you those phones are going to be worthless, but if you want the money, I will give you the money. And they just like look at each other and they're like, yeah, we're robbing you. And I'm like, cool. So I walk around the counter. I go to open up the cash register. And sure as shit, a cop pulls into the parking lot. And he literally just drives around. And they go, holy shit, he called the cops. And he's sitting there in the parking lot. And he's just there to, like, catch speeders.
That's awesome.
But he's there. And I was like, guys, what do you want to do? And I was like, because I don't think you're going to make it. And they go, all right, we're going to leave. And you're not going to go tell that cop. And I'm like, cool. You guys go ahead and go. I'm going to give you guys a head start. And they left. And sure as shit, the second they got their car and they pull up and they drive by that cop, I'm like banging, like I'm just running out into the parking lot. I'm like, they ain't gonna shoot me in front of a cop, right? And I'm like banging on the door. I was like, hey, they just tried to rob me. And he's like, really? And he just pulls off, and that's the last thing I heard of it. He never even came back to get me, like, get a statement
or something.
I have no idea. My guess is that he pulled him over and found a bunch of shit, or the had the gun charge, and they're like, I don't even need it. But that was
they didn't catch him. He actually didn't rob you. So like
no,
and on camera it probably wouldn't look like it either because he never pulled the gun out on.
They probably got him on the concealed weapon. At the time, you would need a concealed carry permit, and if he had it in his waistband concealed, that's a felony.
Yeah,
right there. A crazy story.
No, isn't it nuts?
Yeah,
it's crazy. So that is my most bizarre work story.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Well.
Thank you, Alexa.
Yeah, thanks, Alexa.
Our number one fan.
Follow me on Twitter at TylerHicks15 and follow us at crit_unacclaimed on Twitter.
Yes.
And on Facebook. Well, you're already on Facebook, I think. I don't know.
All right, guys. So this will post on Wednesday. We'll record again next Sunday. Keep it up, guys. Like, if you guys have any questions or other topics, or if there was questions that you sent us that we didn't get a chance to answer, just keep those in your mind.
And
send it back over. We'll try to do this at the end of every podcast.
And, we are trying to grow the podcast, so if you would give us a share, and also, follow us on all the social medias. I know I've been, pushing on my Twitter and stuff, and I'm trying to get that going because we do want to grow the podcast. And so, whatever social media platform you use, give us a like and subscribe and a share and everything like that. And also, we're trying to get YouTube hooked up. So if you're on YouTube, be looking for that in the next couple weeks. So,
all right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next week.
Awesome, guys.
Straight to the stage, they love me. I understand they hungry, but please don't hate, that's ugly. I've been sliding, shaking, moving. I've been popping in my city. Shawty say she love the way we do it with me. I be too turned up to ever give a fuck. I ain't come to argue, let a nigga fuck. They been talking pennies, I need bigger bucks. About to catch a flight, I need to switch it up. Got that black boy joy, might do my dance on him. Take no disrespect, might put my hands on him. Hit this chicken, now she wanna marry me. But she gon' need some closure and some therapy. Came back to the city with my bank account on F. Giving rappers hell, I know they happy that I left. Hit the south in winter, I just put down my deposit. 82 degrees, I left that jacket in my closet. Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'ma flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember how they played us. They wanna knock me down, but somehow I just stay up. Hey, look, came in with the what's that? Left out with the who she? Laying game like 2D, I been kicking shit like Bruce Lee. Margarita to the brim tip, black denim need a slim fit. Same people that I flex with be the ones that I'm in the gym with. I'm a living legend, you a dead cause, and I'm dead ass. No, I'm dead right. Leaving early, but I'm early night. Long and short to keep the head right. Teed up out in Malibu, got sand all in my good shoes. Press a nigga with the pessimism, but I only came for the good news. I am the show that they came for, hitting the target I aim for. We been discussing the contract, just telling they get what they paid for. I am not fucking with poverty, really it started to bother me. I need the yacht with the property, that come with the view that you gotta see. Came up from the basement, hit the rooftop with a passion. Bad bitch with some good credit and a good sense for the fashion. Dope blowing with the left hand, ass gripping with the right hand. Uber share to the airport, I'ma hit you back when my flight land. I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'ma flick up.